Welcome to our fascinating journey through space. In this video, we will delve into the extraordinary world of the International Space Station, or ISS. Get ready to uncover the mysteries of this incredible marvel of human engineering, as we explore how it works and the incredible feats accomplished aboard this orbiting laboratory. So, fasten your seatbelts and prepare for an out-of-this-world adventure. The International Space Station, ISS, is a multi-nation construction project that is the largest single structure humans ever put into space. Its main construction was completed between 1998 and 2011, although the station continually evolves to include new missions and experiments. It has been continuously occupied since November 2, 2000. The ISS is not owned by one single nation and is a cooperative program between Europe, the United States, Russia, Canada and Japan, according to the European Space Agency (ESA). The International Space Station costs about $3 billion per year for NASA to operate, roughly a third of the human spaceflight budget, according to the agency's Office of the Inspector General. As of May 2022, 258 individuals from 20 countries have visited the International Space Station. The top participating countries include the United States, 158 people, and Russia, 54 people. Astronaut time and research time on the space station are allocated to space agencies according to how much money or resources, such as modules or robotics, they contribute. The ISS includes contributions from 15 nations. NASA, United States, Roscosmos, Russia, and the European Space Agency are the major partners of the space station and contribute most of the funding. The other partners are the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency and the Canadian Space Agency. Through a private company called Axiom Space, private astronauts are starting to work on the orbiting complex, from time to time. Additionally, astronauts from other nations such as the United Arab Emirates do fly occasionally to the ISS. Current plans call for the space station to be operated through at least 2024, with the partners discussing a possible extension. NASA has approved an extension to 2030, although Russia says it will withdraw after 2024 to focus on building its own space station around 2028. How the station will be operated after Russia's departure has not yet been determined. After 2030, plans for the International Space Station are not clearly laid out either. It could be deorbited, or recycled for future commercial space stations in orbit. Crews aboard the ISS are assisted by mission control centers in Houston and Moscow and a payload control center in Huntsville, Iowa. Other international mission control centers support the space station from Japan, Canada and Europe. Elements of the ISS are controlled by mission control centers in Houston or Moscow. How big is the ISS? The International Space Station is 356 feet, 109 meters, end-to-end with a mass of 925,335 pounds, 419,725 kilograms, without visiting vehicles. The solar panels alone cover 1 acre. There is 13,696 cubic feet of habitable volume for crew members, not including visiting vehicles. The space station has 7 sleeping quarters, with the ability to add more during crew handover periods, 2 bathrooms, a gym, and the cupola, a 360-degree view bay window of the Earth. How high is the ISS? The space station orbits Earth at an altitude of approximately 250 miles, 402 kilometers, with its orbital path taking it over 90% of the Earth's population. Thanks to the size of its solar panels, it can be seen with the naked eye at dusk or dawn when flying over a local area. Who owns the ISS? The International Space Station is exactly that, international. It is a partnership of 5 space agencies from 15 countries who contributed different parts to make up the ISS, which are still owned by the respective partner, and we all help to continuously operate the station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The space station is composed of parts provided by the United States, Russia, Japan, Canada, and the countries comprising the European Space Agency. How to see the International Space Station? The International Space Station orbits Earth, at an average altitude of 248 miles, 400 kilometers. At night, the ISS is visible from Earth, appearing as a luminous moving point of light and rivaling the brilliant planet Venus in brightness. It can be seen without the use of a telescope by night sky observers who know when and where to look. How fast is the ISS moving? The ISS circles Earth every 90 minutes at a speed of about 17,500 miles per hour, 28,000 kilometers per hour. In one day, the station travels about the distance it would take to go from Earth to the Moon and back. Life on the International Space Station. There is typically an international crew of 7 people that live and work inside the ISS. However, during the changeover of crew members, this number can vary. For example, in 2009, 13 crew members visited the ISS. This is also the record for the most people in space at one time. Occasionally, private missions such as those from Axiom Space bring non-professional astronauts on board the space station, too. Typically, astronauts travel to the space station via SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule or, in the case of Russian cosmonauts, a Russian Soyuz capsule. The Soyuz was the primary form of transportation for all astronauts and cosmonauts after NASA's Space Shuttle program retired in 2011. Crew Dragon began flying people starting with the Demo 2 mission that launched on May 30, 2020. Boeing's Starliner is preparing for launching humans after its successful uncrewed orbital flight test 2, OFF-2, in 2022. Once at the station, astronauts will typically spend a mission period of around 6 months conducting various science experiments and maintaining and repairing the ISS. Outside of work, astronauts will spend at least 2 hours on exercise and personal care. They also occasionally perform spacewalks, conduct media, school events for outreach, and post updates to social media. The first astronaut to tweet from space was Mike Massimino, who did it from a space shuttle in May 2009. Bedrooms in the ISS typically include small bunk beds. The astronauts tether themselves to a wall or allow themselves to freely float in the small space, depending on their preference. Crews temporarily visiting for just a few days may sleep in their spaceship or in a spare spot on the station, which is allowed as long as they tether themselves in space. The ISS is a platform for long-term research for human health, which NASA bills as a key stepping stone to letting humans explore other solar system destinations such as the Moon or Mars. Human bodies change in microgravity, including alterations to muscles, bones, the cardiovascular system and the eyes. Many scientific investigations are trying to characterize how severe the changes are and whether they can be reversed. Astronauts also participate in testing out products, such as an espresso machine or 3D printers, or doing biological experiments, such as on rodents or plants, which the astronauts can grow and sometimes eat in space. As the only microgravity laboratory in existence, the ISS has facilitated more than 3,600 researchers to conduct more than 2,500 experiments to date. Astronauts only have limited spare time in space, but they use it for activities like looking out the window, talking with friends and family, taking pictures or doing hobbies like playing instruments or sewing. One astronaut, Mark Kelly, once donned a gorilla suit on the ISS in 2016 as a practical joke on ground controllers. How big is the International Space Station? The space station, including its large solar arrays, spans the area of a U.S. football field, including the end zones, and has a mass of 925,335 pounds, 419,725 kilograms, not including visiting vehicles. The complex now has more livable room than a conventional 6-bedroom house and has 2 bathrooms, gym facilities and a 360-degree bay window. Astronauts have also compared the space station's living space to the cabin of a Boeing 747 jumbo jet. Inside the International Space Station. The International Space Station was taken into space piece by piece and gradually built in orbit using spacewalking astronauts and robotics. Most missions used NASA's Space Shuttle to carry up the heavier pieces, although some individual modules were launched on single-use rockets. The ISS includes modules and connecting nodes that contain living quarters and laboratories, as well as exterior trusses that provide structural support, and solar panels that provide power. The first module, the Russia Zarya, launched on November 20, 1998, on a Proton rocket. 2 weeks later, Space Shuttle Flight STS-88 launched the NASA Unity Node 1 module. Astronauts performed spacewalks during STS-88 to connect the 2 parts of the station together. Later, other pieces of the station were launched on rockets or in the Space Shuttle cargo bay. Some of the other major modules and components include the truss, airlocks and solar panels, launched in stages throughout the ISS lifetime. Docking adapters were launched in 2017 for new commercial spacecraft. Zvezda, Russia. Launched in 2000. Destiny Laboratory Module, NASA. Launched 2001. Canadarm2 Robotic Arm, CSA. Launched 2001. It was originally used only for spacewalks and remote-controlled repairs. Today it also is regularly used to berth cargo spacecraft to the space station, spacecraft that can't use the other ports. Harmony, Node 2, NASA. Launched 2007. Columbus Orbital Facility, ESA. Launched 2008. Dextre Robotic Hand, CSA. Launched 2008. Japanese Experiment Module or KIBO, launched in stages between 2008-09. Cupola Window and Tranquility, Node 3, launched 2010. Leonardo Permanent Multipurpose Module, ESA. Launched for permanent residency in 2011, although it was used before that to bring cargo to and from the station. Bigelow Expandable Activity Module, Private Module, launched 2016. NanoRacks Bishop Airlock, launched 2020. Naka Multipurpose Laboratory Module, launched 2021. Pritchel, a Russian docking module, launched 2021. Thank you for joining us on this captivating expedition into the inner workings of the International Space Station. We hope you found this adventure enlightening and inspiring. Remember, the wonders of space are within our reach, and it's our collective determination that propels us toward a future where the boundaries of exploration are limitless.